a person might say, at some point, according to a lot of your teachings, that once we get into the heavenly places, and then the Lord cleanses us and presents
at the judgment
us
seat, right?
to the Father,
Father,
that we are going to be learning.
Yes.
Continually.
Yes.
And that even if you would have initially suffered loss.
Right. At the judgment seat?
Yeah, at the judgment seat. From what I get in the teachings is that because of the teachings, you're eventually going to get to where the Lord wants you to be. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But the time where you earn your reward is by faith now. By your faith working now. You won't need faith after your death or the rapture.
You know why? Because the faith of Christ, when you're at the judgment seat of Christ,
correct.
you see to everybody in the body of Christ has the mind of Christ.
So Nola, what seals our reward at the judgment seat is what we've done by our faith today during our walk of faith. We walk by faith. He rewards faith. Your faith is done at your death or the rapture, right? There's no more reward to be earned because you can only earn reward by faith. But that doesn't mean all the body of Christ won't continue to grow in his mind. We all will. But as far as our reward, that's going to be sealed at the judgment seat based upon this side of eternity, what we've done here and now. So your reward, everybody's reward or lack thereof is based upon their faith or lack thereof. Yep.
Maybe I'll ask Krista to explain it to me.
Okay, so we're gonna. Okay, go ahead.
I'm understanding that at some point, because of the faith of Jesus,
correct,
Christ, right? At some point, even though according to the word, that there will be different thrones or
there'll be different positions and
higher grade positions,
correct,
and then middle.
And what are those based upon? When the Father gives those out, or the Lord determines at the judgment seat, what will those different positions, where you rank in the hierarchy of God's kingdom, and in just whether it's reigning or not, what is it based on? What is your reward based upon?
It's based on what you know of the doctrine of.
It's threefold. The work of faith, the labor of love, and the patience of hope.
Right.
Those three things go together. You can only do that now, right? By faith. That's what's rewarded. It doesn't mean that if you don't do it now, it doesn't mean that God's going to just say, well, you weren't interested in your life, forget it. No, you're going to be more than willing to serve him after the judgment seat, and you're going to continue. We're all going to continue to learn. But what God's going to reward, Nola, is right now, the sacrifice right now by faith. So what doesn't make sense about that? Does that part make sense to you?
My point is, if at some point through eternity that we're sort of like all going to be the same because of what Christ has done.
When you say that's what I'm missing. When you say, that's what I'm saying. When you say we're all going to be the same, in what way? That's the key. Because you said something I don't agree with. We're not going to all be the same.
Have the same knowledge, same, or
isn't it that we're growing in the doctrine, and the doctrine that we learn is going to be the doctrine, or what we're going. What's happening whilst we're learning the doctrine will help us in those positions to make decisions that Christ can trust you to make those decisions. But I'm saying that if everyone at some point is, do you understand what I'm saying? If everyone at some point is going to learn and grow, one might say, well, what's the point of suffering now? Do you understand what I'm saying?
It's the reward. That's why.
Yeah, it's the reward.
Because the Lord.
It's the reward.
Check this out.
The reward is not that we all get to a certain point of knowledge. That's not the reward.
Okay, we're all going to grow and all mature.
Yes.
throughout the year.
But one
But
of the
the
things
reward-
I think I heard is
Mhm.
that you're thinking we're all gonna get to the same point of knowledge and understanding,
Yeah.
which means that if somebody's down here, they're gonna learn up to here, but the person that was already here, they're not gonna learn anything? No, I think they're gonna be further up.
Correct.
I mean, it's going to be an infinite learning of we can't exhaust the Word of God, after
Right.
all the
Right.
richness of it. So that's the issue. The Lord, like Ron said, the Lord is going to He rewards what you do with your faith. And let's face it, when you're up in the heavenly places, you don't need a whole lot of faith. I mean,
You don't need
there's the Lord
any
Jesus
faith.
Christ. You can just look at Him, right? I mean,
No,
so-
Paul says you won't need. Yeah,
Because then you'll see it.
you'll see him. Your faith will be
Yeah,
sight.
it's not,
Right.
you don't need it anymore.
Correct.
Right.
So you earn the
There's a
reward
scripture like
now.
that, For what a man,
For what does a man? If a man seeth, what he does he yet hope for? That's Romans
yeah,
8.
right.
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 And what's the one in Hebrews where faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence
It's
of
the things
Right.
not seen.
Right.
So if you
If
see it,
that's
it's not.
where-
Gonna, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If I understand you correctly, you think that there is a point beyond which we don't learn anything. Is that what I'm hearing?
no, I think I've heard from, Brother Ron, that at some point we're all gonna keep learning, keep growing in the knowledge of the Lord. So I want to know, what is the reward?
Well, the reward of the inheritance is to reign with him. We will reign over his government, okay?
Right.
His heavenly kingdom.
Right.
You earn that now.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. You're saying all the heirs, all the joint heirs, we're all going to continue this infinite learning. Right. But that's a separate issue, Nola. I see what you're saying. That's a separate issue. That's not the issue with the reward of the inheritance. The reward of the inheritance is correct in the doctrine, the work of faith,
Right.
labor, love, patience, hope in the mystery.
Right.
You have to do that now by your faith, right? Christ and the God the Father will reward you for your faith now with whatever position God they determine that you're at in that. But that doesn't. How do I say this? I'll give you a case in point. In our government, let's use the American government.
Not everybody.
The vice president. Okay, so you got the president and the vice president. Let me use them, right? The president has a higher authority job than the vice president, right? But that doesn't mean the vice president eventually, by spending time, let's say out of 8 years, that he couldn't understand how the presidency worked. But that doesn't make him president. What made him president was president got elected by the people for whatever, right? The vice president can learn more, right? He can even learn how to operate in the role of a president, but it's not his role. He's still going to be in his role. The role that God gives you is based on your faith now. You're going to grow in understanding and stuff like that, but you're still going to serve in that role. The vice president can know how the presidency run. He could even be right there watching every decision and may be qualified eventually, but he still is who he is, and the president earned that at the election, right? Once he was elected president, that's his job for 4 years. The vice president, that's his job. Look, we probably had presidents. This is where it breaks down. We probably have vice presidents they're more presidential than the president, right?
That's what I was going to
Okay.
say. I think we've had vice presidents that actually do a whole lot,
more
than the president did,
Yeah.
but they were not the elected president.
Correct. It's said about Lyndon Johnson, that was his whole thing. He was older and more experienced than President Kennedy. Kennedy was a younger man, and Johnson. And you read about it. It irked him. He wished he got his chance after assassination. You know, some people think he got something to do with it. Point is, he felt like he should have been president, but he wasn't elected as president. Kennedy was. So the point is, I see what you're saying, but those are two separate things. You earn your reward. Now, you ask what the reward could be reigning, but it doesn't necessarily have to be reigning, because the heirs of God, the people who don't suffer in the mystery, they still, if they do something if they contributed something that was Pauline to the work of God, they'll get rewarded for that. It just won't be
That's
reigning.
the difference between Corinthians when it says
A reward.
3, a reward, and then versus
Colossians 3,
reward.
the reward.
Paul says in Colossians, for you serve, knowing that Give me the verse, Ron.
Knowing that of the Lord you shall receive the reward of the inheritance,
for you serve
the Lord
Jesus
Christ. Yeah.
That's the reward. The reward of the inheritance is reigning, right? But let's face it, you get somebody that I came out of an Acts 2 church. Pastors there were teaching a pre-tribulation rapture. That's
For example,
Pauline.
yes.
That's built upon a Pauline foundation.
Yes.
They didn't
So
know,
That's what I wanted to
right.
ask.
So, okay. Go ahead. Go
Pastors,
ahead. Yes.
Because I've been in a lot of churches, and I'm not that sincerity,
Mm-hmm.
people really did get saved in those churches.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
the knowledge of the
Sure.
Lord.
And-
It may
and-
have not- it
and
wasn't
the
for
pastors-
everybody, but it was still. I can't see them just losing out.
no.
No. They get rewarded for that.
Okay.
Listen, I can tell you, Billy Graham, way back in the 50s and 60s,
Right.
he used to preach the gospel.
Right.
I know some older some older dispensational saints who remember his crusades back in the 50s and
Right.
60s when they were young. He preached the clear gospel back there. He got watered down as he got more famous and became, friends with, he became a celebrity. Will Billy Graham be rewarded for those souls that he brought to the Lord Jesus Christ way back? Yes, he will. He won't be rewarded with the reigning,
Yeah.
but even amongst the heirs. Okay, so you can have somebody like Billy Graham who used 70 years of his life getting people saved, and another dude his age who saved and done nothing for the Lord, right? God, he distinguished even between the heirs. Neither one of them suffered for the mystery, but Billy Graham is going to earn a reward higher than that other man because he at least had some Pauline truth that he was getting. And like Matt said, Jack Van Impe doesn't rightly divide, but he preaches a pre-tribulation rapture. He's going to be rewarded for those who he helped edify in that doctrine of a pre-tribulation rapture. Jack is not reigning with Christ because he's not rightly dividing, right? He's not in the mystery. But will God give Jack not only what Jack believes about the pre-tribulation rapture, but what he taught others? Will Jack be rewarded with that? Yes, he will. He will be rewarded for that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so it's just like,
Okay.
it's all stratified. If you're an heir of
Yeah.
God, there's different positions of,
Yeah.
of glory in that, and there's different positions in joint heirs for Christ, right? Everybody's, so the bottom line is, you're right, the Lord's fair. He's not going to say, sorry, you're getting nothing.
Right. No.
That's-
Which
By the way,
another point which I've discussed.
let me just get this verse on there. He says, the Lord's fair, 1 Corinthians 4, then shall every man have praise of God.
that's
every
right.
man.
Everybody,
Even if you didn't do nothing, if you just one day trusted Christ, he said, at least that one day you trusted my son. Every man will have praise. That's God's grace. But go ahead, Nola.
I've discussed this with you before, and I don't know how to say it without maybe sounding like,
No, just say it.
we
found
may obviously we may never get to the like really grasp the
Let's just
the
say
doctrine,
it. God
the way-
made women
because of
a weaker
Christ.
vessel. Sure they did. He
So
did that with Eve.
Exactly. So, and my thing is,
It's what
how
you
is that
believe.
gonna be worked out?
well,
Because
it's
he-
easy. He's
Fair-
the,
fairly.
Yeah,
he's the
the
Lord,
cap-
the righteous judge. He's going to take all
The
those things into
capacity that you
consideration.
have. Yeah.
Okay, all
Look,
right.
if do you think you have to tell the Lord Jesus, by the way, I was born a woman, we were weaker vessel. Oh, I didn't know that. No.
right.
He's going to say, yeah, I made Eve that way.
All that's going to be factored
All
in.
that's factored in. He holds men to a higher standard of accountability when it comes to spiritual things. Because God made it. He says, Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. God made you all weaker vessel for his purpose so that there could be order there. Adam and then Eve. He takes all that into account. So you're not going to get a raw deal because you happen to be born a woman. No.
It almost feels like, because when I look at you men teach this and have this understanding, and I'm thinking, what when I'm reading, why couldn't I get that? Why didn't I?
Because God made it so that you have a spiritual covering to help you understand that.
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even have to ask this question, but for the sake of camera, I'll ask it. Do you love the mystery? Yeah, duh, right? I already answered that, right? So,
That qualifies you to reign right
that's
there.
right. That's right. Because your love for the mystery, to whatever degree you understand it, I can
Right.
tell you. But what the Bible declares, you will reign as a joint heir with Christ.
Not to me, a crown of righteousness, not to me only, but to all them that love his appearing. You love the mystery. If you love that mystery message, God has a position of reign for you.
Yeah.
I do love a mystery.
I know you.
That's
We
true.
know you.
So-
We know you do. Yep.
And the rest of it, is all only the Lord, the righteous judge,
Yeah.
could judge all these
All
different
of these,
circumstances, intelligence, how much,
Yeah.
whatever, like what your situation is. Maybe you're in a poverty situation where all of that's going to be taken into
All of
consideration, right?
Everything.
And this,
The thoughts he talks about, he should bring to light the hidden things of darkness and make manifest the counsels of the hearts. What you do and why you do it, all that matters to God. He takes it by a case basis.
Right.
That's why we all get to stand before him.
It's kind of
Because
like did you run your marathon the fastest you could run it?
That's right.
Right.
You could maybe do it in 2 hours, you could maybe do it in
that's a
4
good,
hours.
see, this is what she adds to it.
Yeah.
Because we watched the marathon go by. Jada-Lynn and I, it was early. Krista was still in bed. She's not gonna get up that early watching runners, but she ran a marathon. But she didn't. I told my daughter, because I watch marathons 2 years in a row. As the police are coming, the highway patrol is coming, and I can hear people clapping. I go, it's gonna be a group of African men run right past us, Jada-Lynn. You know what happened? It was 8 African men ran right past me. And then about a minute later, here come a group of white guys right there. I go, pretty soon you're going to see a black African woman come by. Here she comes. They all have different times. Everybody's different. And like Krista said, did you run it to the best of your capability? These people were giving it their all. And then we waited at the end of there was this one black lady, she was about 250 pounds. She was barely walking, but she said, I'm going to finish this race. She was going. We stayed out there and clapped for her, man. We were like, she was like at the back end. They were taking down the barricades. The police was like, you just taking too long. They were opening up traffic on her, man. The traffic is coming. She's still going. So she did the best she could. And you know what? I hope she finished that marathon, because she was going to get a finisher thing, because that was the best she could do. That's how it is. Not everybody has the same capacity. Sure.